Hey guys, this is Warner Workman, Minuteman Arms with Drive Across America, segment 3. Now listen, I know how to take a video, right? Unfortunately, the little holder that I have won't let me, put me in a better position. So you're just going to have to suffer through, my head in the middle. It should be up here, right? So you get more of a full body thing, right? So I got that. Not much interesting up here, right? But so don't criticize me on the videography of it, right? Anyway, okay, so we're on segment 3. So, one thing I rarely do anymore is I rarely listen to the radio, right? And, so much of it's the same old, right? Now, I never listen to the news. It's the same old. And because, if you're not Fox, the only thing you ever talk about is Trump bad man, right? If you listen to Fox, they got, somewhat of a mixture of stuff. But, sometimes I want to know what the hell's going on outside of the continental United States, right? There's, 200 countries as recognized by the United Nations, more or less. I've been to about half of them. I like to know what's going on. But anyway, so I'm down here. I'm actually listening to WMAL, Dan Bongino, taking over for Rush Limbaugh. I don't know if that's a permanent thing or if it's just short-term, but I was listening today. He's a great guy. I actually met him once when he was running for office in Maryland. I met him in the town of Brunswick, which is right across the river there from Lovettsville off the Potomac, right? So anyway, but I listen, it's just a fucking thing. Conservative thought typically is so incredibly logical, right? It follows the laws of physics which have been created by God, right? The concepts of logic and reasoning, right? That, 1 + 1 is 2, right? It's by definition, it's by fact. There's no white supremacy thing associated with it. There's no racism associated with it. These are pure mathematical concepts that have been created by God that man has learned and propagates through, hopefully, our school system. That's not true anymore. That's a different story. But, I love listening to the logic and reasoning, regardless of the political, aspects of any given topic. Typically, when a conservative articulates his position, it's based on 1, facts, 2, logic and reasoning, right? When you listen to a liberal explain something, there's always a tear involved, or threats of violence, right? Or accusations that you're a racist, bigot, homophobe, just whatever the long list of bad things. And they're all bad things, right? You don't want to be a homophobe. You don't want to be a racist. You don't want to be in this stuff. But they accuse you of those things because inherently within them, that's who and what they are, and they're ashamed of it, right? And the thing about it is God can free them from it, right? It's the whole, restoration power of God, the cross, and Christ, right? So I won't go into a lot of detail on that. It's self-evident, but I'll sprinkle it through there, right? It's all part of the conversation. But that's one of the nice things about being a conservative, right? Is that you can trust on immutable facts, right? That 1 + 1 is 2, right? That God created the heavens and the earth, that they're not random acts of blah, that it's actually created by an intelligent being. That intelligent being just so happens to be, what we call God, a God that's eternal, omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, right? And truly the great I am, right? So anyway, where was I going with this? I've been listening, getting back to the politics. Now listen, it's just so refreshing, right? I'm an engineer. I help the nation launch rockets. At least that's what I tell people, because it sounds really cool. Somewhat true, not really, but that's the story I'm going with, and I'm sticking with it. But the nice thing about rocketry, right, is it's grounded in the laws of physics, right? You got to have a certain amount of thrust to reach escape velocity, so that you can go boop, 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 round and round the planet instead of just crashing. Anyway, we'll talk about this more. This is segment 3. Man in Man Arms. We're going to talk about guns. We're going to talk about politics. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. God bless. We'll talk to you later.